Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the intense phase of Israel's war against Hamas in Gaza is, quote, about to end. Speaking on Israeli TV, Netanyahu said the army is close to completing its current ground offensive in the southern city of Rafah, but maintained that the fighting won't stop until the group behind the October 7th terror attacks no longer controls Gaza. He also warned more Israeli forces will move to the border with Lebanon, where fighting with Hezbollah has escalated. Tania Krämer has more for us from Jerusalem. Tania, where does all this leave us in the war?
Well, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave this interview, you have to say, a rare interview to a local TV channel, a right-wing channel as it is known here, where he was saying basically that the intense phase of the war is winding down. And he also indicated that the army is close to completing its offensive in Rafah, the southern city in southern Gaza, but without giving a timeline or without giving even more details. But he also said the war is actually not over. This would mean, he said, that fewer troops would be needed in Gaza and they would be redeployed to northern Israel. He also said in that interview that he was prepared only for a partial deal, an agreement that would see a ceasefire, a pause in fighting, including then also the release of some of the hostages, as he said, but that the war will not be ending until Hamas is removed from power. Now, these comments he made were very sharply criticized here, especially by groups that are representing the hostage families, saying that he would therefore abandon some of the hostages that remain in Gaza. And the Prime Minister's office then issued a clarifying statement that they would not abandon the hostages. That is actually Hamas who's not agreeing to the deal. But it's seen as problematic, as there's no incentive right now for Hamas to agree to such a deal that has been stalled. That's a ceasefire hostage deal that's on the table, because their main demand was always to get a clear timeline for when the war will end, to enter such an agreement.
And Tania, what about the situation at the border with Lebanon? Fighting between Israel and Hezbollah has increased in recent weeks. Can you tell us where things stand there now?
Well, absolutely. And there was always, the understanding here in Israel that once the offensive in Rafah, in Gaza, would be coming to an end, then the attention of Israel would then turn to its northern border. And as you have rightly said, there has been a lot of cross-border firing actually since October 8. Hezbollah has joined the war, so to speak, but this has been intensifying in recent weeks. We've seen more attacks going deeper into Israel by Hezbollah, but also attacks by Israel deeper into Lebanese territory against Hezbollah. Israel wants to push Hezbollah back from its border. Tens of thousands of Israelis had to leave the area, have left homes and cities and villages in this area. They have been displaced there, and this is something that Israel cannot accept. So we heard Netanyahu saying that he would look for a diplomatic solution. There are some efforts underway, but if there's no diplomatic solution, he would look for another way. And of course, there is the concern right now that if there would be an Israeli attack on southern Lebanon, this could actually go into a wider war with Iran potentially joining and its militias across the region.
Tania, thank you. As always, that is DW's Tania Krämer in Jerusalem.